Hey, it's Scott once again, and yeah, I'm not driving around the country anymore in my videos. At least in this video, we'll see. We'll see what the next ones provide. But I am back on the ground, so to speak, quite a bit more stationary. I'm coming to you from an old school in my community. This, I think, was an auditorium, as you can tell by the stage, but it's also a hardwood floor that's much like a basketball court floor, so I'm wondering if it may have been a small gymnasium. Emphasis on the word small. But anyway, I bring that up for a couple reasons. One, yeah, I'm not driving, but two, you'll also notice the sound. This is large, and so it's kind of a little tinny. Probably it doesn't have that good, deep, rich sound, so I apologize to you for that. But I thought, well, I'm in a good spot here. We've got some space, got some privacy. I want to come to you today and talk briefly for you about a concept called overwhelm. It's something we've all dealt with. It's something we all deal with in various aspects of our lives. Well, I'm talking today about it for us as coaches. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this today is because it's what I'm going through today. Overwhelm is something that happens to us all, and sometimes through no fault of our own, sometimes through our fault for not getting prepared properly, whatever it might be. The key to overwhelm, though, I think, is not the overwhelm itself and is not the getting into it, but how do we react to it? And especially for those of us who work with young people, teachers and coaches especially, how are you reacting to the overwhelm in your life? Because overwhelm can do a few things that can be really not very positive for you. It can have a negative effect on your performance. It can have a negative effect on your relationships. It can have a negative effect on your health. And obviously there could be others, but those are three things that I think are really important. Well, think about it from your kids' perspective, right? How are you adjusting to the overwhelm in your life as you are then turning around and dealing with your kids? Right? What are you like at practice? What do you like at games? What do you like in meetings? What do you like with them in terms of your behavior? Are you letting the overwhelm that occurs at times in your life affect the way you deal with them? And so there's a variety of things, and you could read all kinds of books on psychology, and you could read all kinds of, and watch all kinds of TED Talks and videos, and read all kinds of books about these types of things. But just consider for yourself, how do you deal with overwhelm? And if you deal with it well, and you don't find that it affects your performance and affects your relationships with your kids, okay, then you've probably figured out a way to handle that. But if you're like I have been at times, and again, it's not always going to be the certain way or not a certain way, and so it might be sometimes, yeah, I'm really poor at this, other times I'm okay with this, but I've had my moments where the overwhelm overwhelmed me, and it affected how I then turned around and dealt with my kids. And so please recognize that when you have moments of overwhelm, right, moments that are just, your days where you're totally consumed. The reason I bring it up is this is what I'm dealing with today. Because I worked at the fitness center in the morning like I do each day. I am teaching English now in this room to students, and so today was my first day with them, and I've got basketball practice. This is our first week of basketball practice, so I've got that after school today. Then I've got a meeting tonight after that. So I got a lot of things, and I had to prepare, for 3 of those 4 things, and the timing was real tight with each. In fact, I'm working this video in the one spot in the day when I can. How I am dealing with this overwhelm right now is, okay, I'm dealing with it, I'm getting it done, but how am I going to react to my kids tonight at practice? How did I just do with my kids in this classroom? And it went fine. The key is, what am I going to do tonight with them when maybe things get a little tough and things are, because we're trying to pick teams. I mean, there's a variety of things that are going on there. And so there's some feelings of overwhelm that I could allow to overtake me. And here's the key. You cannot let those things overtake you when you are in a relationship business like we are. And of course, we're all in a relationship business with our own families, All right, and so think about that. Do you let the overwhelm affect how you are with your family? Well, of course we don't want that. It happens at times, but we don't want that. Well, the same thing goes with our teams, and that's why I'm talking about it with you today. Make sure that you have a plan in place for how will you deal with those days, because they're going to happen, when you are overwhelmed with a lot of things, and yet you still need to be your best for your teams or for your classroom, for your family, as I mentioned. How are you going to deal with that? Try to have some plans in place. Do what you can to be prepared for that. Try to make sure you give yourself enough time between things that might be overwhelming you. Try to make sure that you have planned out all the things that you have to have. I did all of my running off of copies and that for my students today in class. I did all of that yesterday, so I knew, because I knew the timing is going to be a little tight. Okay, I've already run off my practice plans for tonight, so I'm good with that. I've got this meeting that I'm going to be going to. I've got my sheet ready for that, and so that has helped. I have planned out what I'm going to eat for dinner between now and the practice, the little snack that I will bring to practice. The more you can front load the variety of things that you need to be ready with when you do face the overwhelm, the easier it will be for you to deal with it when it happens. And then, once again, the better you will be for your kids, for your teams, for your families, for whomever. So try to understand that this is going to happen to us, absolutely. There's no getting around that. But when we prepare ahead of time in some ways and know that it's going to happen, it can help us get through this that much better and be that much better for those who we need to be best for. All right? All right, we'll come back to you next week, maybe from this same setting, maybe from another setting. Maybe I'll be on the road, who knows? But I'm looking forward to it. I hope you're looking forward to it as well.